little bit different. Welcome back to Ben's Garage. So have you ever wondered what that little button on your Range Rover does? I'm a bit wobbly with the camera. I've got the big camera. We'll have a look down here, see what this button does. So what does that mean on your Range Rover? That's a picture of a car with squiggly lines. On a lot of the Range Rovers it says DSC. Now DSC, as you saw on the dashboard, Dynamic Stability Control. Basically that's a posh way of saying traction control. All L322s have got traction control. Now it gets a bit confusing as to what was what on a lot of these Range Rovers. This one has got a lock-in rear diff. I think it was an option on these particular models. I'm not sure if the later, is it the L405, the newer version of the L322. I'm not sure if they come with the, they call it an ETM, which is an electronic torque. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically it's a lock-in rear diff. It's got like clutch plates in it. It's operated electronically. There's sensors all over this car for the traction control, ABS. So you can switch your traction control off. Land Rover don't advise it, but it's there if you to get you out of a pickle. So like if you're stuck and you need to get a bit of rolling momentum backwards and forwards, if your traction control's on, it'll stop you doing that. It just overrides all the systems and it stops everything. So basically you can switch your traction control off just to try and get out of it. Or if you just want to have a little bit of fun out in the snow doing some donuts. A 4x4's worst nightmare, which you wouldn't believe, one of the hardest things, especially on road, on road tyres, because if you've got off-road tyres it's not a problem. One of the biggest things that will catch most 4x4 owners out is wet grass. But yeah, gotta see what the Hobbit's up to with the dogs. So at the moment, every time you switch the ignition off and back on again, it resets the DSC so that your DSC is always on. Traction control is always active. Now you can hold the button down for a second and it comes up on the dashboard, DSC off. There are some circumstances where the traction control will still cut in. I'm not going to be able to find those today because it's quite dry. When I was messing about the other day, it was quite wet. So, you all right? Yeah. Oh, stones. I don't think we'll be able to do that. Now on the what do they call it? Hang on, we've all gone dark. Now on the terrain response wheel, all the settings, I don't know if that affects the traction control differently. I've got the handbook, but it's all in French. And I can decipher it, but it's just hard work. So it's like if you can use terrain response driving it on the road as well. I mean, I wouldn't, I'd just have it in normal drive, but with special programs off. But I know with the sand setting, it gives you a lot more throttle response, apparently. You see, there's a lot of sensors on the traction control side of things. That's all linked in with the ABS. You can tell that something's going on underneath the car. It's graunching and grinding about. So we're just coming down through here. I might have to turn around and go back up the other way. Right, let's see what happens here. I'll floor it. Well, it locked the centre diff and that was it. So I can feel the brakes doing something. But because we didn't really spin it up too much, the traction control didn't do anything. So let's see if I can get the traction control to spin it up. Right, so I'm going to switch off the special programs, and that's showing no diffs on now. So what I'm going to try and do is hold the camera and see if traction control cuts in. I'm not sure. I've got a dog following me somewhere. Right, so now I'm going to switch the traction control off, hold the button down, DSC off. Make sure both the dogs are out of the way. Right, here goes. That's a little bit different. There was no holding back on power then, it just went for it. So yeah, if you do want to get yourself out of a pickle, I should have been in off-road height then. Why was we lowered? I know if you mess about with off-road, if you switch traction control off and you were in off-road height, it will sometimes adjust itself, because we was back down on standard height then. I was reading up on this earlier. There's a lot of sensors on this car. There's like yaw sensors and all that kind of thing for the active damping. I know on Sam's Motors and Machine he was describing the other day about his active dampers, so go and check his video out. I'll put a link up in the corner to Sam's channel. Getting into his Range Rover videos now. Seems to be doing better than me. But yeah, so check his video out for about the adaptive dampers and stuff like that. But there's so many sensors on these cars. Luckily we've got the gap tool. It's bonging because I ain't got my seatbelt on. But now I'll just press the DSC button. We're back in traction control now. So yeah, that is what that button does. It revved out all the way to the rev line then, whereas when the traction control was on, it only went to about 3,000 before it changed gear, because it was losing traction on the grass. If it was wet, I'd have been able to show you a little bit better, but it's quite dry at the moment. I might just do it one more time and get the Hobbit to film me. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and now you know what that button with the squiggly lines does. I think on some of the earlier Range Rovers it actually said DSC, but this is a picture of a car with squiggly lines. So that is what that is basically. So it's all good stuff. There's a lot of technology on these cars, and as Sam was saying in his video the other day, you know, he doesn't want to sugarcoat Range Rover ownership. It's like when I did the buyer's guides, I didn't say buy a Range Rover, it's the best car you ever have. You know, I said what you need to be looking out for and what you need to budget for that could go wrong. Luckily, I can do a lot of repairs myself, as I'm sure Sam does on his, which we know because we've seen the videos. But yeah, I still love this car. It's bloody marvellous. So yeah, hope you like this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. We've got some more Range Rover videos in the pipeline. Just waiting for the better weather and stuff. And yeah, so from me and the Hobbit over there with the dogs, it's bye for now.